After months of grappling with the centre over the non-disbursal of funds under the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan or the SSA, Tamil Nadu has now taken the matter to the Supreme Court seeking a legal resolution. What is this issue all about and what exactly has the state argued in its petition? Vanakkam, this is T. Suresh Kumar. Thank you for joining me in this episode of the Hindu Focus Tamil Nadu. Let us start by examining what exactly is the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan or the SSA funding controversy all about. In February last year, after reviewing Tamil Nadu's compliance with the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, the centre's project approval board had allocated nearly rupees 3,586 crore for the state's educational development under the scheme. Of this amount, the centre committed to bear 60% of the cost, that is over rupees 2,154 crore, scheduled to be paid to Tamil Nadu from April 1, 2024. However, the centre failed to disburse these funds. Instead, the union government linked the release of the SSA funds to Tamil Nadu's implementation of the National Education Policy 2020 and the PM Shri, that is the Pradhan Mantri Schools for Rising India scheme. Consequently, the centre asked Tamil Nadu to sign a MOU for the PMC scheme, which required complete adoption of the NEP in Tamil Nadu. However, the state had previously rejected the national education policy, especially clause 4.13, which mandates the implementation of the three language formula in schools. Now, since 1968, Tamil Nadu has followed the two language formula, teaching only Tamil and English in schools, strongly opposing the three language policy. Despite Chief Minister M.K. Stalin raising this issue with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his firm stance that Tamil Nadu would never implement the NEP, the centre has insisted on the link between the SSA funds and the implementation of the NEP. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu's Finance Minister Tangam Tenarasu, in the state budget that was presented in March this year, allocated funds from the state's own exchequer to ensure the welfare of students, compensating for the funds that was withheld by the centre. Now, Tamil Nadu has sought legal recourse to recover the funds that have been held back. So, what exactly has the state said in its suit before the Supreme Court? The state government has argued that the centre's failure to release SSA funds has caused a complete disruption in not just the SSA program but also in the implementation of the crucial Right to Education Act in Tamil Nadu. The result of this is that nearly 44 lakh students, 2.21 lakh teachers, and over 32,000 staff members have been affected. The petition has highlighted several key issues. Number one, Tamil Nadu has argued that the centre's action undermines the principle of cooperative federalism as it encroaches on the state's rights. Number two, the state government has contended in the Supreme Court that the centre is overstepping its authority, especially in the domain of education, which is a concurrentless subject under the Constitution. Point number three that the state has raised is that it has insisted that withholding of funds is an attempt to force the state to adopt the NEP and abandon its own education framework. Now, in the petition, Tamil Nadu has also contended that this move of the centre constitutes a breach of constitutional trust, depriving the state of funds that it is rightfully entitled to. The centre's linking of the SSA funds to the Prime Minister Shri scheme, PM Shri School scheme, has also been challenged by Tamil Nadu on the ground that there is no interconnection whatsoever between the two schemes. The state said that this is arbitrary and unjustified. The centre, according to Tamil Nadu, cannot use financial assistance as a leverage to impose its own policy. Additionally, Tamil Nadu has maintained that it is well within its rights to reject the National Education Policy and the PMC scheme, as these policies are not backed by statutory authority. While Tamil Nadu has been implementing the SSA scheme as per the Project Approval Board's allocation, it is only in a letter dated September 28, 2022 and thereafter that the central government sought to impose the NEP and the PMC conditions. Besides, the state has pointed out that the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education had in its report earlier this year recommended immediate release of pending SSA funds not just to Tamil Nadu but also to Kerala and West Bengal to prevent disruption in salaries, teachers training programs and school infrastructure maintenance. Against this backdrop, Tamil Nadu has now sought four specific reliefs from the Supreme Court. Number one, the state has urged the Supreme Court to declare that the National Education Policy and the PM Shri scheme are not binding on Tamil Nadu unless the state formally agrees to implement them. And number two, it has sought a declaration that the centre's decision to link SSA funds with the implementation of the National Education Policy and PM Shri scheme as unconstitutional, illegal, arbitrary and unreasonable. The third relief the state has sought from the Supreme Court is a directive to the centre to release over rupees 2,151 crore for the 2024-25 financial year, along with rupees 139 crore in interest at the rate of 6% as compensation for the withheld funds. The fourth prayer Tamil Nadu has made is to seek a direction to the centre to continue fulfilling its statutory obligation to pay Tamil Nadu grants for the implementation of the RTA Act before each academic year as mandated by law. It remains to be seen how the proceedings unfold in the Supreme Court in the coming weeks and what its eventual outcome would be. We shall certainly keep you updated on it. On that note, this is D. Suresh Kumar signing off. I shall meet you in another video. Thank you.